And welcome back everyone to my second game of the second match. I'm playing against the same opponent as the first one, of course. The first game, shall I say. And yeah, I have the black pieces. I was prepared against the London. I knew he was gonna play in the London. I knew he plays variant. Usually you put the bishop on f4 and the knight on f3. And yeah, I can even play the moves for you here. I'm gonna just go back and forth with my knight just to demonstrate white's opening. The plan is you go here, you build this pyramid-like scheme with the pawns, and you put the white bishop in the middle, and you just work with this position. Now that's the standard London. What I know he plays the same exact thing, but he does not develop the bishop right away. He puts this on d2, which is kind of a more passive but less common, so that's just his choice, and that's what I was prepared against. Surprises began on move 1. He played c4. I had no idea how to face c4. I remember I prepared a game like at least 6 months ago against another opponent, and I had some g6 line prepared, so I went for that because I knew he was gonna Nge2 the bishop and probably play a Catalan-esque position. My preparation was against the Catalan, so 2 pawns in the middle and then the Nge2 bishop on g2, and my plan was to go knight c6 and bishop d7, queen c8, and immediately go challenge the bishop and just ask him what it's gonna do. So in this moment, I know my setup is knight c6, bishop d7, queen c8. I just know these are gonna be my next 3 moves in some order. Maybe not queen c8 not right now. So I just played one of them, just completely lightheadedly played bishop d7. I completely lost the rook. There is no excuse here. I thought there was no difference. I played that really quickly, and I blundered a pawn and the rook behind it, it's trapped, so I was gonna have to push this to trap his bishop on a8. But yeah, I just lost the rook, and he was blitzing out his moves too, so he didn't see it, because you don't just assume your 1500 rated opponent is gonna blunder the rook. So yeah, funniest part is I didn't even realize this until after the game was done already when I analyzed it at home. Yeah, I just blundered the rook on the move. What is that? Move 4. Nice. 1500. Let's go. Like I said, I finished my plan to build this battery with the queen and the bishop, going towards h3 to challenge the bishop. And he spent a lot of time on this knight d5 move, and I was struggling to understand it. I mean, the knight is not doing much, actually. Look at all these squares. I thought it was maybe gonna try to reroute, but even on e3, I don't really see the real utility of this knight. I thought that was so much better here. A tempo here would have been spent much better on, I don't know, castling or playing d3 or developing, maybe even b3. It's possible to develop the bishop the other way. Anyhow, he went here, and I attacked the c4 pawn, and here he made a mistake. He definitely made a big mistake, but he played the best computer move. Say, how's this possible? Well, the best computer move is, of course, d3, and he went free. But the fact is, this move is, I want to say, obvious, because what else are you going to do? I'm attacking this pawn. Queen c2 is... I will not play queen c2. The pawn is going to d3 no matter what, because you're going to have to develop this, and also just to get stability to the whole structure, you're going to have to put the pawn on c3. And he spent 8 minutes, I remind you. We are playing 30 minutes chess. So he spent almost a whole third of his time to play this pawn up one move. So yeah, that's why I consider this move a mistake. The move is the top stockfish choice, but he spent so much time on it. I couldn't figure out why. He played it. I quickly developed bishop to g4, and then he played f3, and I was in complete shock. I mean, I know my opponent is very good at chess, so him just blundering a pawn on f3, apparently, I was really figuring out what kind of plan he might have any queen a4, I never thought they would work, because this just leads to nothing. I just thought, yeah, it is a pawn. I'm gonna take it. I was really pondering whether to take with the bishop or the knight. Advantage of the bishop is that I keep the knight there, and apparently the knight can get back to e5 and trade itself, and I have a very good position. Advantage of the knight is that I do attack his rook, so he has to move it or to castle. It doesn't look like it, but you can actually castle here, and this bishop creates a little bit more pressure. Nevertheless, I took with the bishop, so I ended up with a knight there. Okay, brilliant. And yeah, I did end up trying to trade this knight, and then I went queen g4. I was like, he played rook b1. I imagined to be able to move the pawn after I move the knight, so that my bishop is no longer attacking the rook on a1. I play queen g4, and you might be thinking, listen, there's just a fork here on c7. Yeah, it's kind of a fork, but if you actually take the rook, it's very bad, because I have this queen f3 check. And yeah, if you go to e1, I'm taking a rook, and it's very bad. You have to sack the knight back. Yeah, this is a very bad position. If you go back to g2, it's even worse, maybe, because I'm taking here. It's checkmate, except you have to sack the queen. So yeah, I would be just up a queen and winning. So yeah, knight c7 is not really a fork, and that's why he didn't play it. He took the knight instead, and I thought here, why don't I just trade every piece and try to win the endgame? You see, I can easily trade the queens and the bishops, and the knights have already been traded. So I was like, yeah, let's take with check first. My queen is not hanging, of course, because it's check. He cannot capture my queen. And then I traded the queens, and I felt really comfortable in this position. I'm up a clear pawn. Surely I cannot utilize his weak king, because I have not enough pieces to attack. But it's a pleasant endgame. Like I said, I'm already up a pawn, so how hard can this be? I'm surely cannot lose this, right? Right? We'll see. I played e6. I was really proud of this move, because I am restricting the knight. I felt like this was a high level move, and I coming to d5 would be very bad for me. So I did end up playing e6, and here I thought I have to go h5. I'm gonna be honest with you. I have no idea why I did not play h5. Sorry, h5 is played to prevent the knight from coming to g4 and then to f6. Instead, I did not go to f6 because I thought the knight was not doing much on f6. Instead, it was much more promising on the d4 square, which is weakened by his c4 e4 plan. So I thought, yeah, I'm just gonna go to c6 and then to d5, and we're gonna have a game. I have a godly knight here. I'm up a pawn. How bad can this be, right? He immediately went to g5, punishing me for not playing here. And here I thought, the knight is coming to f6, right? I have no way to prevent this. I mean, I could go back to g8, but it's incredibly sad. Look at this. Immediately. It's not even that bad according to the computer, but you know, it's not human at all. I cannot go back to g8, come on. I thought, yeah, the knight is coming to f5 and f6, sorry, and it's going to be with the check. So I'm going to move the king. If I proceed with my plan to go to d4, he will come and to f6 and hit me with the check. So I'm going to have to move the king before then. So I just castled right away. Why not, right? I'm going to have to move the king. And of course, he went knight f6. What I missed here is that I have a way to prevent the knight from coming to f6. If I just play f5, I thought, so what? Knight f6 anyway. No, the knight is trapped after king d7. The knight has no squares to go to. I mean, he does have this, but then now it is definitely trapped. There is nothing here. The knight is completely trapped. So yeah, I missed f5, which was so crucial to play. I castled instead and allowed the knight on f6 and proceeded with my plan to put the knight on the d5 square. I play e5 also to support the knight, and also to block the king from ever entering here, which I thought was gonna be devastating if I didn't. Apparently I don't have to do it. I can just play knight e5, preventing the king from going here by attacking the d3 pawn. Yes, Stockfish, totally gonna find that. He attacked the queen side. I played a6 to prevent any nasty pawn push, and he did the same on the king side, and then I did the same on the king side. I thought that was hilarious for some reason. Just we mirroring the moves on the queen and king side. Knight to d5, and I d5, and I finally put the knight on d4 after defending the f7 pawn from the rook. And here I began to realize, wait, what am I doing? This knight is doing nothing. I mean, the only thing is he can't really move the rook because I'm gonna be forking this pawn, but it's guarded by the knight. I thought, yeah, no, this rook is super strong here. What am I really doing here? And yeah, he doubled, of course, and I defended the f7 pawn as best as I could. It's not good enough, because I'm just blundering g6, of course. And I realized I was blundering g6 the moment I put the rook on the d7 square. Of course, I cannot take because of the pin. I would be losing my rook. I would be winning one rook, but losing the other one. And I thought the position resulting was just very bad. I would have had to play this move, and I thought just the rook was gonna feast on all these pawns. So I didn't. But position is already very miserable. And now let's see if you can spot the tactic. Spotted it. Very nice. It's knight b6. I had little time, admittedly. I was already mentally lost. I had a lost mentality. I was playing, thinking like, let's see how I can manage to lose this game. You might say, yeah, it's equal pawns, equal material, but the activity of his rook is just so much better than mine. I'm just so congested, and this f7 pawn is so tough to guard. This is falling as well. I guess I could have kind of guarded it with this, but it's ugly. It's really, really ugly to defend all of the pawns. And yeah, instead I kicked the knight around and got hit with a fork. And you know what? I think I resigned before he had even time to spot it. I'm sure he would have spotted it, but I think I just played c6 and resigned the game because I just knew there is nothing here. So yeah, I lost my second game too of the second match, so I'm 2 wins and 2 losses, and I'll see you back for game 3, match 3 rather.